We are here with Ray Kurzweil, and I'm so excited. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, it's been my pleasure.
So first off, what is the singularity?
It's the end result of this ongoing exponential growth of information technology. The hardware is getting more and more powerful. We're more than doubling the power, price, performance of computing every year. The software is also growing exponentially in capability. So we see examples like Watson or Siri or the Google self-driving cars. And we're going to see more and more examples of intelligent software. We'll reach a level where computers are equivalent to humans by 2029, but we'll also be able to benefit from tremendous scales. I mean, Watson read 200 million pages, including all of Wikipedia. Humans can't do that. Didn't read it at human levels, but still it has total recall. But we're going to combine with these technologies. We're going to put them inside our own bodies and brains to make us healthier and smarter. Go out to 2045, we'll make ourselves 1 billion times smarter through this merger. That's such a profound change that we borrow this metaphor from physics and call it a singularity.
So how do you feel then neuroscience and biotechnology, how do you feel that is impacting computer science today?
Well, computer science is impacting biotechnology because we're actually treating our biology as software, which is fundamentally what it is. Genes are little software programs. They're sequences of data, and they're not written in C++. They're written in protein sequences, but still, we're learning to actually decipher them, and we can reprogram them. How long do you go without updating the software in your cell phone? It's probably doing that right now. But you and I are walking around with 10,000-year-old software in our bodies, and it's not a metaphor. The fat insulin receptor gene says, hold on to every calorie, because the next hunting season may not work out so well.
Or time for an update?
So it's time for an update, and we have the technologies to do that. So it's a complex area, but there's an intersection now between computer science and biology, treating biology as if it were software. Neuroscience is informing computer science in that we're learning how the brain works, and I talk about this in my new book, How to Create a Mind, The Secret of Human Thought Revealed. And I describe the basic algorithm of human thought. And we can use that, in fact we have been using it in artificial intelligence, to create intelligent machines that are modeled on similar ideas and properties. As we really learn fully how the human brain works, and I believe it's basically 300 million little modules in the neocortex that recognize patterns and can organize themselves in a hierarchy. That in a nutshell is the algorithm, but I describe it in detail. And as we really verify that and apply that to our machines, we can create machines that work just like the human brain, and then ultimately make ourselves smarter by merging with that technology.
What do you think of people thinking of the brain as more of an emergent system than something you can reverse engineer?
Well, it's an emergent system in that you have these 300 modules. Each of us wires it in a completely different way. So not only does your brain create your thoughts, but your thoughts create your brain. And so what emerges from that is a very different personality in the case of each person, and different interests and different skills. That's emergent, but we can still understand what that basic method is. We just have not been able to look inside the brain until recently, because we're making exponential gains in the spatial and temporal resolution of brain scanning, and we can now actually see in a living brain individual internal connections being created and firing in real time. And we're able now actually to model and simulate and verify these models of how the neocortex works.
So on the train of thinking, is thinking, having a computer that thinks like a human, still the goal of artificial intelligence, and when can we see something like that?
Well, we want our machines to be intelligent. Intelligent is useful, and we need more intelligence to solve the grand challenges of humanity. And we've already amplified our intelligence with our tools we have already today and the many types of technologies we see here at Demo. and that's going to continue to accelerate. The human brain is capable of doing things that machines can't do yet, although that gap is continually getting smaller and smaller. We already have computers that can drive cars or can, play a game of Jeopardy better than a human, and so on, or answer questions, from your mobile device. And that's going to continue to get better and better, and we'll be able to create more intelligent systems by understanding how the human brain does it. I've been consistent in saying by 2029, computers will match the ability of the human brain to be intelligent, and as measured by the Turing test, which I think is a valid test. And we'll go on to then merge with those machines and make ourselves smarter, and then ultimately vastly enhance the intelligence of our civilization.
In terms of our mobile phones answering questions for us, what advice would you give to Apple in its next iteration of Siri? What should Apple change?
Well, I think the natural language understanding is fairly primitive. Its ability to actually understand general questions. And most people don't use it for that. They use it for where's the nearest pizza joint, or where can I get a beer, or how do I get to Starbucks. And it does okay on those simple kinds of queries. If you ask it a more substantive question, it very often doesn't really follow the language. I think we know how to do a better job of that already, and I think that's where the industry is headed. So people creating Siri and all of its competitors are going to be working on natural language. I'm working on that myself.
And lastly, what scares you?
Well, I'm scared of the downside of these technologies. I mean, take biotechnology. I mentioned that we're reprogramming biology away from disease, and I believe we'll actually make fantastic progress in that over the next decade in terms of basically changing this software so that we don't get cancer or heart disease, reverse aging processes, and so on. But a bioterrorist today in a routine college bioengineering lab could take a flu virus and reprogram it to be a deadly epidemic. Now, we're not defenseless against that. I've actually worked with the U.S. Army on a rapid response system for that. It's a complicated question. The system is not foolproof that we have to defend ourselves, but that's a downside. Technology has been a double-edged sword ever since fire kept us warm but burned down our villages, and these new technologies are much more powerful. AI, we're going to use it to make ourselves more intelligent so we can solve the grand challenges of humanity like disease and poverty, but it could also be used to be destructive. Same is true of nanotechnology. So that's what I'm concerned about. We already have technologies like nuclear weapons that could destroy all of humanity many times over. And that's probably the biggest challenge. All the dangers of these technologies is the biggest challenge facing humanity over the next century.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much. It's such an honor to have you here, and thank you for watching.